distinguished guests on the dais, academic professionals, parents, my dear students. It is my pleasure and privilege to be an integral part of this interesting and exciting day. I spent the last couple of hours in this wonderful, wonderful atmosphere. There's an Oriental saying, if you aim at short term, you cultivate flowers. If you aim at medium term, you cultivate trees. If you aim at long term, if you aim at eternity, you build humanity. And that's precisely Great Lakes has been setting the right kind of footprints. Extraordinary feat of cultural integration. Mata, Pita, Guru, Devam. That's to start with. It is so inspirational. முந்தி தவம் கிடந்து 300 நாட்சுமந்து அந்திப்பகலாய் வந்தித்து தனி மனிதனை பெற்றெடுக்கிறார் ஒரு தாய். தாய்தான் நாம் கண்கண்ட தெய்வம். அதை விட ஒரு பெரிய கடவுள் கிடையாது. வாஹர்த்தாவிவ சம்ருத்தோ வாஹர்த்த பிரதிவர்த்தையே ஜெகத பிதரோ வந்தே பார்வதி பரமேஸ்வரோ. அப்பா அம்மாக்கு விட பெரிய கடவுளே கிடையாது. That is what this institution has instilled in you. What an extraordinary value streaming. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Kshakshat Parambrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. There's a beautiful Tamil saying. Kolanalul Devam Kolgai Mainmai, Kalai Payil Teliva Katurai Vanmai, Nila Malai Nerehol Malarikar Machiyim, Ulakiyal Arivoda Amai Bavan Asirian, into Asiriya Pavirku, Ilakanam Vahatan, Nanul Pavanandi Munivan. Then comes your respective religious God. These are thoughts to be nurtured. Your thoughts becomes action, action becomes habit, habits become your character, and character become your destiny, as the saying goes. The sheer, the drive and determination institution has instilled in you is an extraordinary feat for us to recognize. Dr. Bala and me are instant click when we met a couple of years before. I could feel him, the energy and enthusiasm in him. We have a common artist in the name of Shivaji Ganeshan. That's a skill development which was quite productive for me to earn my subsistence, like Dr. Ramesh has just mentioned. I also come from a very challenging circumstances. I used to act like Shivaji Ganeshan in the schools and the colleges, and I got my acting role in the All India Radio as well as television. I used to earn out of these two channels and subsidize my education. The skill development was very handy in terms of substance. My mother was going through extraordinary, challenging times, and I used to subsidize the family as well through these earnings. The skill was very handy, and I want to quote Shivaji Ganeshan, because Bala was 2 days before, he wrote me a mail that I should share some of the clips of Dr. Shivaji Ganeshan again. We recollected together in this very same hall 3 years before when we came together to address Rotary Club. I was talking about Thiruvilayadal. I was trying to bring in the emotional scene of Nakiran and Shivaperuman. இப்போவன் கொண்டு வந்த பாட்டிலே குற்றம் கூறியவன் எவன் இவன்? அவன் இவன் என்று ஏகவசனம் வேண்டாம். அவையடக்கத்துடன் கேட்டால் தக்க பதில் கொடுக்கப்படும். அப்படி என்றால் மன்னர் விட மற்றவர்களுக்கு இங்கு அதிகாரம். இது அரசவை என்று தமிழ் திருச்சுமை. அதனால்தான் சகலத்துக்கும் உரிமை உண்டோ? முதக்கன் பாட்டை எழுதியது யார்? யாம் இயற்றினோம். எழுதிய தாங்கள் வராமல் புலவர் துரிமையிடம் கொடுத்திருப்ப வேண்டிய காரணம் அது நடந்து முடிந்த கதை தொடங்கிய பிரச்சனைக்கு வரும். புலவருக்கு முதலில் பொய்யுரை தேவையில்லை, அதைத்தான் தாங்கள் புரிந்து கொள்ள வேண்டும். புரிந்தது புரியாதது, தெரிந்தது தெரியாது, இவை அனைத்தும் யாம் அறிவோம். அவை பற்றி உம்முடைய அறிவுரை தேவையில்லை. எல்லாம் உமக்கு தெரியும் என்றால் நீ எழுதிய பாட்டில் குற்றமில்லை என்று அர்த்தமா? அதை பற்றி யாம் குற்றம் கூறக்கூடாதா? கீரன் குற்றம் கூறுகிறாராம். கூறும் கூறும் குறிப்பாரும் எப்படின்னு ஒரு this is Bala is a better actor than me. You should know that. Just I gave a sample of my character depiction on Thiruvilayadu. This was quite handy because when the audition took place in All India Radio, I was doing my chart accountancy and I didn't have money to even support my education. I used to act in Surya Gandhi and All India Radio Tamil versions. And this was the audition. I used this as a tool to earn this, the membership in the All India Radio. So we have very many things in common. The positive attitude, that's what we need to imbibe in the system. Like Andrew Carnegie once said, when you identify a person, it's just like digging gold. If you have to take an ounce of gold, you have to eliminate tons of dust. You look at the positive side of the person and interpret and leverage on him in the right direction. And that's what precisely I found the leader in you. That is the right kind of characteristics. It's all about developing humanness in you. The righteousness. When there is righteousness in your heart, there's beauty in your character. When there is beauty in your character, there's harmony in your home. When there is harmony in your home, there is order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. That is precisely what we need to articulate as a human. And this institution is setting the right kind of framework for you to develop. And what is also required is to recognize whatever be your talent, whatever be your education, the principle of persistence, that is omnipotent. The drive and determination is through persistence, and that can drive you places. There are educated derelicts. There are unrewarded genius. But what matters is to recognize that you have to have persistence in you. You have to have the drive in you. You have to have a principle-centered value in you. Really, you have to understand, integrating your heart and mind is the eternal. If you start reconciling yourself, answering yourself, and if you integrate your heart and mind, you create better citizenship. When you are a good person, you can be a good professional. A group of good professionals can create a good society. A group of good society can create good nation. A group of good nations can create united nations. All that we need is to aspire to reconcile in substance the so-called the consciousness. That's the world we're in. What comes to my mind is to recognize Mahatma Gandhi. Pleasure without consciousness. Wealth without work. Religion without sacrifice. Politics without principles. Commerce without morality. Science without humanity. These are all great sins. What's required in this world today, in an interconnected, interdependent world, is to recognize ethical and moral governance to yourself is very vital. And that's precisely we get into when it comes to corporate management. Look at this world. Look at the state of the world today. It's an extraordinary sort of a defining moment. We live in an interconnected, interdependent world, I said. But even after 10 years of financial crisis, we haven't resolved the issues. There are contentious issues between developed world and developing world. When the financial crisis started in 2008, we thought it's a liquidity crisis. The liquidity crisis moved into a funding crisis moved into a solvency crisis, and it had become a sovereign issue. what the world did? They started printing money. When the housing market collapsed on account of subprime in the United States, it transcended borders, it infected the rest of the world. Essentially, when we recognize we have to print money, improve the money supply, inflate the financial markets, improve the housing market, America started printing money. When they started printing money, the housing market was recovering. It doesn't end there. When America started printing money, Bank of England started printing money. Then European Central Bank started printing money. In 2012, Abenomics, Japan, which was technically under recession, started printing money and improving their own exports, because when you started printing money, you are artificially administering the currency. You're weakening the currency. When you start weakening the currency, you have a competitive value advantage in terms of trade. Now, even after 10 years, the global growth is not in order. I was in Washington in the spring meeting a couple of months before. Last year, October, the same IMF meeting in Indonesia, Bali, annual IMF meeting, the world growth was projected as 3.9%. It was revised downward in January in Davos, Switzerland, as 3.6%. Again, in the spring meeting, a couple of months before, it was revised downward to 3.3%. Financial economies are still reeling under pressure to become real. Real economies are redefining their scope and performance. Communism has changed. Capitalism is altering its form and substance. Mixed economies are poised for growth. The Vice President was absolutely candid in saying that India is a country to be productive, positive, and it is the future of this world. The incremental growth comes out of the emerging markets. 60-65% of the global productivity, sustainability comes out of BRICS. And the star performer within the emerging market, within the global matrix, is India. When I said the global growth is confined to 3.3%, advanced economies are still grossly underperforming. That is 1.8%. Topping in the list is United States. Still, not sustaining its meritocracy. Euro, as an enlarged fraternity where the monetary policy is centralized, fiscal policy is decentralized, is a design error. Birth is a deformity. By design is an error. UK, with the advent of Brexit, you are in bigger problems. Globalization has become anti-globalization or economic nationalization. Technology has become digital governance. Today, in substance, whether it is artificial intelligence or blockchain or robotics, process automation or 3D printing, extraordinary set of digital governance is taking place. There's one country which the entire world is really proud of, is India, because financial inclusion, that's what the Vice President was mentioning. Over 36 crores of people have been brought into the banking channel. That's what is financial inclusion. If you have to set in the right kind of committed mission to bring in gross welfare to the mass, then you have to understand sustainable development is a goal. How do you bring in sustainable development? Elimination of extreme poverty, gender equality, universal health care, universal education, global warming and climate change. These are not ordinary issues. Increasing sea level, increasing temperature, animal extinction, extraordinary set of carbon emission is not an ordinary issue. If you have to protect this planet, if you have to recognize the energy security is important, if you have to understand our children and grandchildren are important, we have to bring in global sustainable development agenda in your personal goal and mission. If you have to bring in sustainable development agenda, then you have to necessarily understand financial inclusion is a must. And that's what India is trying to articulate in substance. What a joy to be an Indian. We are proud of our heritage, culture, values, civilization. We recognize we are a country who are full of substance. When you travel around the world, I have stamped over 106 countries in my passport. And I tell you, I'm proud to be an Indian. I'm proud of my heritage. I'm proud of my value streaming. It is not only the econometrics. The economy is going to do extraordinary. There's no question. The economy today is 2.9 trillion. It's going to move up to 5 trillion, as the Vice President said, by 2025. Possibly 7.5 to 7.8 trillion by 2030. The kind of technology revolution taking place in India, the digital governance, 1.5 billion mobile, over 1 billion internet users, 110 smart cities, over 125 new airports, 1.5 to 2 trillion government expenditure in terms of constructive engagement. These are not ordinary numbers. The world at large is today casting extraordinary confidence on India as a functional democracy. It's going to be extraordinary for your generations. We should be proud of what we are. It's not only education what you gain today. Education with meditation, that's what the heritage this country has given to you. You become civilized by your education. You realize through your meditation. You understand you got a gold medal, some of you today. You're going to have golden moments through your meditations. You understand the job eligibility by virtue of your degree today. You're going to have life flexibility by meditation. You understand who I am by your education. You're going to understand who am I. That's integration by meditation. That's the biggest gift, universal gift today. 167 countries of the 192 countries in the United Nations have endorsed as a structured solutions. That is what yoga is all about. Integration is all about. Well-being is all about. That's what the healthcare, that's what the value streaming, that is what the Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam is all about. That is what the value stream India, centuries along, has been brought in as a value stream. And that's what we are proud of. Our value systems are second to none. We are transcending borders. Today, India is getting globalized in substance and form. Our culture has transcended borders. Our music has transcended borders. Our cinemas have transcended borders, whether Hollywood or rather Bollywood or Kollywood or Tollywood. Our literature has transcended borders. Me and my wife witnessed in Russia, in Latin America, Raghuvamsam Kumarasambhavam enacted by their own children. Extraordinary set of feel when you see our food has transcended borders. Our vegetarianism is transcending borders beyond imaginations. There's no mad cow or bird flu. So, extraordinary set of globalization of India itself as a culture. And that's what we should be proud of. This century belongs to India. Recognize it. This century belongs to you the Indians. It is not only 1.3 billion people we have. As Keynesian economics goes, you have the heritage, the value systems, and the power to articulate solutions which are responsive to see. We convert this world as a better place. Not only we create a better world, we create better citizenship in this world. And that's what your mission should be. And that's what a good institution like Great Lakes can bring into you. And that's what the values seem you should be proud of. So, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen, it's an extraordinary feel for us to realize the world is changing. The world is changing on account of many, many respects. The world is changing is inclusive. The world is also changing as consumerism is trying to dominate. As I said, globalization to economic nationalization, a digital makeup from technology to digital governance, and truly inclusive. And at the same time, what is to be understood is to recognize our systems are second to none. The world at large is plussing today. India is a country to watch. Indians are the workforce to recognize. India as a heritage to adopt. India as a stream to be the incremental engine of this world for today and tomorrow. And for which we need to create better world, we need to create better citizenship in this world, and you are the better citizens. We together can create better world with our heritage, with our value streams for futuristic options. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your kind attention.